The cruelest rulers of medieval Europe. Medieval Europe was a continent of shadows, a place where wars were born in silence and ended in blood. A place where behind stone walls, beneath princely banners and golden crosses, hid rulers capable of cruelty almost impossible to imagine today. Today, I will show you the part of history that is usually whispered between the lines. Today, you will hear the story of the cruelest rulers of medieval Europe. Men who ruled through terror, through fear, through pure violence. Men who turned power into a weapon and their subjects into mere pieces on a ruthless board. And we will begin with one whose mark was left not only in history, but in the psyche of an entire nation. Ivan the Terrible, Russia. A czar who ruled with the sword, with fire, and with madness. Born into a Russia torn apart by conspiracies, betrayals, and struggles for power, Ivan grew up watching the nobles, the boyars, fight for the throne. His mother died mysteriously when he was only 8 years old. Some say she was poisoned, and the child was left alone. Alone in a palace full of people who saw him as nothing more than a pawn. Alone in a cold, brutal world without love. And slowly, the child changed. When Ivan finally came to power, he forgot nothing. He did not forget who humiliated him. He did not forget who struck him. He did not forget who used him. His first major decision was to create a personal force of terror, the Oprichnina, his black riders, men dressed entirely in black, riding black horses, carrying on their saddles a broom and a dog's head. Their symbols, the dog's head, to sniff out traitors, the broom, to sweep them from the face of the earth. With the Oprichnina, Ivan unleashed a psychological war against his own people. Entire villages were erased from the map, nobles burned alive, women and children tortured in order to extract meaningless confessions. But the most horrifying episode, the massacre of Novgorod. Ivan believed the city was plotting against him, so he marched in with his army. And for 5 weeks, the city became a slaughterhouse. Bodies floated down the Volhov River so densely that bridges became blocked. And yet, the most tragic moment had not come. During a violent argument in a fit of rage, Ivan struck his own son with his scepter, a direct blow to the temple. The heir to the throne collapsed and never rose again. The Tsar screamed. He cried. He begged. But it was too late. The world would remember the story. And so Ivan became known as Ivan the Terrible. Not only for his cruelty, but because he was a man capable of striking down his own blood. Take a deep breath, because the next ruler is different. Colder, more calculating, not a madman, but a spider weaving the perfect web of terror. Louis the 11th, the Spider of France. The ruler who did not need a sword to be terrifying. In Europe, few rulers were as cunning, manipulative, and patient in cruelty as Louis the 11th of France. He was not a warrior, not a giant on the battlefield, not a brutal tyrant like Ivan. Louis was something else, a dark strategist, a master of intrigue, a spider sitting at the center, pulling the strings. His nickname, the Spider, was not poetic. It was a warning. Louis had a unique way of eliminating enemies. He would invite them to dinner, and they would disappear. He trapped them in political schemes, or he imprisoned them in what were known as iron cages. Iron cages were among the most sinister inventions of the Middle Ages, designed to cause suffering without immediate death. Inside those cages, prisoners were forced to remain standing in the same position for days, months, sometimes years, unable to stretch, unable to sleep properly, without hope. Some went mad, others died slowly from infections and unbearable pain. But Louis did not stop. He believed that fear and psychological torture could control an entire kingdom. And sadly, he was right. France under Louis XI was ruled by whispers, spies, and quiet executions. You did not see blood flowing in the streets like under Ivan, but you could feel the fear in the air. Louis was the kind of ruler who did not raise his voice. He did not raise a sword. He simply raised a finger, and lives ended. Ezzelino da Romano, the Antichrist of Italy. In northern Italy, his name was spoken in whispers, not out of respect, but out of fear. In the 13th century, Italy was divided by factions, civil wars, and endless ambition. From this chaos rose a man who seemed made of ice and steel. Ezzelino da Romano. Chroniclers wrote that he never smiled, that he had no compassion, no mercy, no soul. They called him the Antichrist of Italy. And it was no exaggeration. Ezzelino conquered cities with mathematical precision, and when a city surrendered, he did not need a reason to punish it. In Verona, he ordered the execution of more than 10,000 people. In Padua, nobles were tortured to death simply because it was necessary. Prisoners were mutilated, burned, hanged, thrown into wooden cages, and left to die in the central square. For Ezzelino, cruelty was not a tool, it was a hobby. His command was simple: leave no one alive who could ever say no to me. Today, his name is not as famous as Vlad the Impaler or Ivan the Terrible, but in medieval Italy, Ezzelino was the standard of cruelty, a demon in human form. Vlad the Impaler, Prince of the Stakes. We now arrive in Wallachia, where the legend of Vlad the Impaler was born. Few medieval rulers managed to turn terror into a weapon as effectively as he did. Vlad was not only brutal, he was a bloody strategist, a psychologist of fear. His most infamous method, the impalements. Endless rows of soldiers, mercenaries, and traitors impaled along the roads, a living forest of wood and flesh. A warning that said, "Enter my land, and you will die." But Vlad did not do this for pure pleasure. Each stake was a strategic message, a message meant to break the enemy's mind and spirit, a tactic so terrifying that even Sultan Mehmed II hesitated before advancing. And it was not only the Ottomans who felt his terror. Anyone who dared to plot against him met an unimaginable fate. Yet Vlad was also respected, not only feared. The son of the dragon, heir to the Order of the Dragon, earned immortality through real deeds, not only legend. Matthias Corvinus, the King of Shadows. Now we move to Hungary. Matthias Corvinus is not the first name that comes to mind when thinking of cruelty, but his actions tell another story. He created the Black Army, one of the most disciplined mercenary forces of the time. During his campaigns, public executions and torture were common. Nobles and political enemies were imprisoned for years in dark stone dungeons, between thick stone walls where light barely entered, where only whispers and the groans of prisoners could be heard. Matthias used fear as a tool, not just force, not just the sword, but the mind, strategy, and psychological terror. Vladislav II, Jagiello, Poland and Lithuania. And in Central Europe we find another example of calculated cruelty. Vladislav II Jagiello, King of Poland and Lithuania, ruled through conflict and religious struggle. Mass executions, harsh reprisals against revolts, severe punishments for rebels. He did not possess the spectacle of Vlad the Impaler or the madness of Ivan, but his cruelty was cold, calculated, and methodical, a warning to anyone who dared challenge his authority. Conclusion: terror, the ultimate weapon. Medieval Europe was not ruled by noble knights or benevolent leaders. It was ruled by men who understood one simple truth: fear is the most powerful weapon. Ivan the Terrible ruled with madness and fire. Louis XI wove perfect psychological traps. Ezzelino da Romano turned Italian cities into slaughterhouses. Vlad the Impaler built forests of stakes. Matthias Corvinus and Jagiello used discipline, torture, and execution as messages. Submission is not negotiable. All of these rulers pursued one goal: absolute control. And they proved that power is not always won only with armies or swords. Sometimes it is won through terror, fear, and legend. But history does not end here. Before medieval Europe was ruled by fear and terror, there was a leader who changed the world through strategy and ruthless conquest. a man who conquered entire empires before the age of 30, a brilliant strategist, and a merciless destroyer. His name, Alexander the Great.